Hi, you clicked onto today's tropical tidbit for Wednesday over here in the Atlantic. We have a fairly quiet setup in the deep tropics right now, but it will not remain that way for long as the Cape Verde season is right about to start up, and we have a couple of systems that we're going to watch shooting right out from the eastern Atlantic here. First one is Invest 92L spinning away here and is going to be coming west-northwest over the next several days, and this is a well-defined signature that is going to have to be watched. If we go over to the water vapor, one of the big problems for this system is going to be all this dry air out ahead of it here, and this is going to be what keeps it down for a little while. Convection is still rather weak with this, fairly consolidated in one little area. I don't mean consolidated to mean organized, but rather it's small is a better word, is there's not a whole lot of it. It's not widespread, and we like to see more of this filled out here. But these storms are often like this as it has dry air to the west, and it's still over out in the cooler water in the eastern Atlantic, and when this gets farther west, it's going to have more of a chance. We can see, though, if we zoom in on this, that it's got a closed circulation centered right here. Nice little well-defined circulation, convection northwest of the center here. There is dry air wrapping in from the west-northwest, but as this comes west, it's going to have more of a chance. The intertropical convergence zone is down here, so it's already separated to the north and sustaining itself and becoming more well-defined. So as this comes farther west here, if we turn on the sea surface temperatures, right now it's over 27.5 degree water, and as this comes further west-northwest, eventually at 50 west it starts getting into the big warm pool of 29 degrees Celsius water, and you can see how large this is all the way up here towards almost to Bermuda and then towards the southeast United States coastline. Big pool of warm water in the southwest Atlantic. By the time it gets to 50 west, I would watch for this to try to take off as it tries to mix out some of this dry air and fire those thunderstorms over warmer water. So this may be one to watch closely. These are the models for 92L here. Generally west-northwest right away and then a curve out to sea. The pattern here could get it a little farther west than what they show, so I'm already weighted towards these guys here, and if it's going to recurve, which it has a decent chance of trying to do here, although it will get pretty far west, it will probably be near or west of Bermuda here on its way out, if not a little bit farther west there, maybe between Hatteras and Bermuda. But I'm going to show you this pattern here that argues for trouble down the road, and possibly even with this first system. There's going to be two of them, one behind 92L, which I'll show you later, but 92L itself may still have a chance to get pretty far west, and the European will show this to us. But right now this is the comparison, the 8 to 10 day mean 500 millibar height anomalies, comparing the European on the left and the GFS on the right here for 8 to 10 days out. And both of them show oranges showing up higher than normal heights, showing up over southeastern Canada in this time frame, meaning anomalous ridging is showing up, which tends to block storms and bring them towards the coast. Now you can see the weakness in the trough still right over the eastern seaboard here, directly over it in fact, and this is the residual weakness from a trough that leaves this area during this time and leaves this behind. So if we have storms in here, if we have a storm, this could even be a storm shown by the GFS here on the ensemble mean, trying to come towards this weakness. And as this trough is lifting out, this has a chance to get pushed in towards the coast before it leaves out and recurves as this ridge starts building in from the east here, and all this blocking starting to show up. This trough gradually weakens with time. Eventually this ridge gets pretty big, and this can be directed in towards the southeast United States if there is a storm sitting down there. And there's no guarantee that there will be one, but we're in that time now of the year where these things do start to develop as they come across, and if you get enough defined waves in a row, you can just have name after name, and bang bang they start coming across as named storms. And if you get a pattern where this ridging is showing up over southeastern Canada, that is the signature. If there is a signature that defines when hurricanes make landfall in the United States, it's ridging over southeastern Canada. So this is always something I pound hard when we see this. It's time to watch to make sure that there's nothing coming our way, because it could affect the coastline. This first one here may try to get away. This is the European from last night, day 5, and it's hard to see this. The colors here are representing vorticity or spin, so the little red blob here is indicating our invest as a spinning area of low pressure. These are not the same maps I'm used to showing you guys. There are some dashed gray lines here that show the 500 millibar height, showing the troughs and ridges. They're very hard to see on this recording, so I don't think you guys are going to be able to see them that well. I will try to outline them. I'm hoping that the maps over at the site I did use will get fixed west so that we can view the 500 millibar height lines better. But right now, this is out to day 5. This is Invest 92L, European, showing an area of low pressure northeast of Puerto Rico. There's a big low over the eastern United States. This is the 576 decameter height line right here, showing a trough over the eastern United States as this is approaching from the west-northwest. This argues for recurvature, and chances are it may try to recurve here near or west of Bermuda. However, this kind of a pattern is just like all the other troughs that have come into the western Atlantic so far this year. This one is going to be no exception. It's going to try to lift out very fast. So if you go out just 2 days to day 7, where did the trough go? This is the same height line. Look at how zonal the flow is here. Up to the north, very flat flow. There's a residual weakness right here, but notice that the storm has made it pretty far west-northwest here, just northeast of the Bahamas. And here's what happens. When this trough lifts out, the flow becomes zonal, and all of a sudden this ridge starts to build westward in a hurry. And what this does is, even though the flow is northwest to the west side of this ridge, it's building westward so fast that the storm is literally getting pushed towards the coast as it goes. So if we go out to day 8, look at how close it's getting to the United States here, and then by day 9 it's moving right up just east of the eastern seaboard here, up towards New England as this ridge builds west. Doesn't quite get it there, but it gets it close. Major Hurricane Bertha from 1996 was an example of where it had a deep trough trying to recurve it here, lifted out in a hurry, flow became zonal, residual weakness got left behind, but the ridge built in so fast from the east behind the lifting out trough that the storm got forced right into the coast here, and Bertha affected the entire eastern seaboard. That may not happen here. However, the possibility is still there, so I'm not going to rule out any chance of affecting the United States here, though I would think that it's more likely, given how far up in latitude it is already, all the way up at 13 north here, right all the way in the eastern Atlantic. If it's already at 13 north, it's going to be pretty hard to get it all the way west, but it's still possible, so I'm not going to rule that out. Recurvature is a little bit more likely here, but there's one behind it. And if you look out here at day 9, here's 92L moving out, and look at this one down here. There is a 1-2 punch coming. 2 waves in a row here. That would be this one. Here's 92L. This is our next one. Right here behind it, a little bit farther south, could have a chance to become more of a troublemaker down the road here, as this one's also going to be well defined, and the models are starting to lock onto this. This one, as this leaves, the ridge is building westward here, and again that pattern that we were seeing over here will be fully developed with the blocking ridging starting to develop with the zonal flow over southeast Canada, and thus this one may have more of a chance to affect the United States eastern seaboard or the Bahamas here as time goes on. This kind of a pattern favors both of these getting north of the Caribbean, and although the Caribbean should probably watch this one, which is a little bit farther south, I would expect both of these to end up in the southwest Atlantic during the 7 to 10 day period, and these could be troublemakers, either one of them. And if either one of them develop, possibly both of them could be storms, and we may have to watch this pattern very closely as the areas from Bermuda to the eastern seaboard may be threatened by this. We can't forget about Bermuda, folks. It's sitting out here, may be in the way of both of these things as they try to recurve. So we will have to be watching these two very closely over the next week or so. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.